3 weeks.
I don't know. I made a TikTok though, bro. Y'all better like that shit.
I saw it.
It's pretty
I didn't
good.
even like it or leave a comment.
Wow. Fuck you.
Wow, that's a little hostile.
That was a little aggressive. I like it. I'll accept it.
You know.
Pardon me if I'm talking fast, stumbling all over my words. I heard you were leaving town.
Wait, can I
be the one to know first?
Should I record this?
Should you record?
I'm gonna download. Never mind.
What are you talking about?
Nothing, bro. What are you talking about?
I don't know. Hey, welcome back to another fucking episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast, brought to you in part
Brought to you by. What is that?
AirPods. That's our new sponsor, boys.
Wouldn't it be Apple? I don't think Apple's ever sponsored anybody. That'd be wild.
Imagine we were sponsored by fucking AirPods.
Dude, if we were sponsored by Apple, I don't know what I would do with myself.
Bro, I think I heard somewhere. This might be false. I don't know. Take this with a grain of salt. I heard that if you took the sales of AirPods only, it would be its own billion-dollar company.
If you took what?
If you took the sales of AirPods only, just that category of Apple, it would be its own billion-dollar company.
Bro, I might not be able to do this podcast tonight because my headset keeps going out. I'm going to go to Best Buy and buy a new headset tomorrow.
Bro, you said that about your shoes when I fucked them up on accident. I'm sorry about that, by the way. And it's still, that was like 3, 4, 5 months ago.
I got new shoes.
You're capping. I saw you wear them the other day.
The other day, I haven't had to dress up in a month.
Cap.
I feel like it was a while. I feel like it wasn't that long.
I just don't like going shopping, bro. You know how long I've had this shirt for? Like 13 years.
That's wild.
I didn't even buy this shirt, dude. This was given to me, so I hate shopping.
I hate shopping too, bro. I hate fucking shopping, bro. I'll go shopping if it's necessary.
Shopping's cool. Like, I don't like shopping that much either, but you just pick up as you go. You know what I mean? Like, I go to Target. I buy my shit now from Target. That's like all I buy. Like $6 shirts.
Target's fire, but you know what place is fire too? Plato's Closet.
I've never been. I don't know what that is.
Never even heard of it.
Bro, it's like a secondary store.
Okay.
For like good clothes.
Like Banana Republic.
You could get like North Face fucking jackets for $20. Like Nike, dope ass Nike crew necks.
Wait, how have I never heard of it? What is it called?
Yeah, Plato's Closet. There's one in City Heights, I think. There's one down the street from my crib.
Plato's Closet. What the?
Yeah, like Plato, like Socrates and
like
Plato.
Aristotle. Yeah.
Yeah, Plato. His closet.
Wow.
All right, what were you gonna tell us, Korps? I'm interested now.
Yeah, Korps.
Actually, can somebody get us fucking sponsored by Flying Embers? Thanks, Flying Embers. If you guys are watching this,
What the fuck is Flying Embers?
please sponsor us.
Intros, and then I do have a small announcement that I would like to make for all of us.
Boom, skittily. What a
This
treat.
motherfucker always got some type of fucking announcement.
Yeah, bro. What's good?
Well, okay. How you guys doing? I already brought in the podcast. Another episode of fucking Usual
That was some
Tuesdays.
weak ass shit, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, motherfuckers! Welcome back
Yep.
to another fucking beautiful podcast.
Yep.
That's what I was waiting on.
I go by Save. Thank you guys so much for being here. It is my week, my discussion, my choice of what the fuck we're doing tonight. I'm joined by my two handsome and lovely co-hosts, Korps and 0%.
You know?
Korps looking like he got the Versace glasses on, and 0% looking like he just got out the shower.
I did get out.
Balls still dripping.
Oh, tripping.
What is wrong? What is wrong with you?
I'm gonna keep hammering that home until I see it.
Okay.
One day.
You know,
If there's
Send
ever
him a picture in the group chat, bro.
If there's ever a
And
final
I'll take
episode,
it for you.
bro, you acting like I don't send fucking nightly dick pics like it's good morning text, okay?
Look, I will say this. In one of the podcasts I listened to, they were talking about balls and how they stink. And the guy was like, "My balls don't stink." So the other guy was like, "Well, pull them out. I'll smell them right now." And he pulled his fucking testicle out. And the other ones, I swear on my life.
What podcast? What? I don't want to see
I'll
the
send you
clip.
the clip.
I'm not
I
even gonna
swear.
lie.
Oh, you want to see somebody?
I said I
huh?
don't want to see the clip. But that's wild. That's madness.
So,
I do want to throw out there
If
real
you,
fast. I do want to throw out there
let's
real
hear it.
fast.
I just want to wait.
This
Hold on, real quick.
Jesus
Your
Christ,
fucking
let him
Wi-Fi is
speak,
impeccable
bro.
tonight. I just want to let you know that
You already
What?
said that last week.
your Wi-Fi is impeccable tonight.
Oh my guys, I'm telling you, I love this fucking hotel I'm at. I love it here. I love it. I love it here. But I want to say congratulations to the both of you. And I want to say thank you to everybody who is fucking watching. We are at episode 20 of the
Bro.
Usual Tuesday podcast. I think it deserves a little.
That's wild.
And they said we wouldn't make it, people. They said we wouldn't make it.
Nobody
20
said that.
episodes strong.
Nobody said that. Okay.
We're doing it for the content.
We're
Can
not
we try
even
that again?
We're not even
Wait,
popular
Corpse,
enough to have
Corpse.
haters.
Do it again. Do it
Holy
again. Do it again.
shit.
Do it again, Corpse. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Today marks the 20th episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast hosted by Save Oneer, 0% and yours truly, Korps. Yes, we are, that's 5 months deep. We are
Bro.
fucking
5
in this
months.
bitch.
That's crazy.
Five
Let's get a
months.
round of applause. Round of applause. A round of applause. Let's go. Yeah, they said we couldn't do it. They said we couldn't do it, but we
They
did
did
it.
say
We
that.
proved them wrong.
They said it.
Who would've
Fuck
thought?
them.
Who would have thought? Not me.
Not me. Not me. 20 fucking episodes. That's kind of wild.
Madness.
That's 20 different conversations. That's 20 different fucking bickering and going back and forth, whether it's about grape ice cream or.
That's almost half a year.
That's almost half a fucking year, guys. And I'm thankful
That's
for you guys.
crazy.
I'm
really
fucking thankful for you guys, bro.
I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for you guys, bro. And I do want to say, and one thing that it made me think about it was I was at work today, and one of the guys, I'm a new dude at work, and so I finally had a chance to talk with one of my coworkers, one on one, and he was just bringing up topics. I was like, bro, I talked about that on the pod, and he's like, really? I was like, yeah, dude. Like we're talking about a marriage. And should a man should he ask for a parent's blessing? And then we were talking about, there was another one that we talked about, mental health and like panic attacks and anxiety attacks. I was like, bro, I got a buddy who just literally opened up about his experiences. And I think it's funny, like we were talking about some stuff and then we were talking about kids and fathers. And I asked him, I was like, bro, do you kiss your kids on the lips? He's like, oh, sometimes. And, one of them got older and I don't do it anymore. And I was like, he's like, it's something that, I kind of grown out of with him and stuff. I was like, okay. And, and we got to talking about, a couple different political views and this and that. And he's like, bro, he's like, it's really tight to be able to talk to somebody and, I can share my opinion. He's like, I don't fucking know you, but I feel like I can just talk to you about this stuff. I was like, start a podcast, bro. I was like, start a podcast.
Should have told them to tune in every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's what you should have done.
I told him, he's like, give me the link and stuff, man. And I was like, ask me for it tomorrow and I'll give you the information. I was like, if you're that interested in listening, ask me about it again tomorrow. I'll give you the information. I'll shoot you my Spotify, all this. And he's like, he even asked me, he's like, how do I get it started? Or is that something you're not going to tell me? I was like, what the fuck, dude? Podcast for Spotify. It's free to sign up. Get StreamYard or get some OBS, man. Get your broadcast out. It'll help you build it. And I think it was, Zero. I think Zero had mentioned where like it was like it's hard when you're speaking into this microphone and there's not really people listening and this and that. And I was like, bro, we went through that. I was like, and we still go through it. I was like, I have so many subscribers and these boys have so many subscribers and we still kind of go through the insecurities of, who am I doing this for? Why am I doing this? I was like, but bro, if it's something that calls to you, you should absolutely do it, because if you don't, you're just going to regret not doing it. And if you do it and you become successful, you're going to thank yourself for doing it. And that made me think about our talk about success. Like, what does success look like for you? And, these podcasts make me happy, guys. And it makes me really happy that we got to 20 episodes. I had no expectation. I had no, I guess just expectation of where this would go. And it's tight to see that, like, especially you guys have very active communities. Sly's already in this bitch. And I've told you guys about, Mahler came up to me. He's like, hey, you're the dude that does the podcast, right? And it's like, yeah, motherfucker. I am. Matter of fact, I am. I am that guy, bro. And so it's it's tight. It's tight that there's people in the void, whether it's live or 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they're listening to us, man. And I
No,
think,
hey, I'm glad you feel that way, bro. Because believe it or not, tonight's episode is all about you, baby.
oh,
It's all about you. I had my turn. This week's your turn. Like, last week when Zero brought up the topic of getting to know me a little bit better, and he brought up the idea of doing a series that we should do the series of us three. I thought it was a really good idea. I know it was my week to do things. So Zero and I talked about it, and I was like, yeah, we should do Corpse this week. Since it's my week, and then next week is Corpse's week, he can decide if he wants to do Zero or not. Uh, but it you bringing up the fact that you can talk about other things with people or conversations get brought up about that kind of stuff. It happens a lot. Like, it happens a lot to me outside of work. It happens to me while I'm at work with Zero. I don't know if Zero's noticed it, but there's times where we'll talk about certain things that we've talked about on the podcast, or we'll like talk about things that we're about to talk about on the podcast. Um, the marriage one was one that we talked about at work and got other people's opinions on too, which was dope. So yeah, I think we've covered a wide range of things over 20 episodes, but I think we still have so much more that we haven't even thought about delving into yet.
mm-hmm.
Like, a lot fucking more, bro.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of topics I think we've danced around. We've never gotten very political. We've never gotten very deep on like I mean, politics for sure. We have done I think a phenomenal job of dancing around. But and Damo's idea of kind of getting a little more personal with it. I think it was unintentional, and I don't think any of us have anything to hide. But we've done a good job of not like really diving into each other's personal lives and kind of, turning the rug on certain things that we might be curious about. But I do think it is a good. I mean, I've thought about it consistently since Damo brought it up. I was like, fuck, man, like I think it is good for people to see it, because we joke about it, like, oh, I'm a woman hater and I'm a bigot. It's like, but
But
that's
it's
the
time to
furthest.
bring it to the light and see how true it is.
Yeah, we might have to put you in the fire, baby.
Nah,
Because
nah,
I mean,
nah.
I just really do think like it's the furthest thing from the truth, and Cisco, I do want to commend you for your vulnerability last week, man, and it's powerful. And I think about it a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot over the last few days of like, this was really a moment for the people who do have those opinions. It's like, take that. Like, no, how do I want to say this? Cisco could never be harder on somebody than he already is on himself. And he
That's a good
speaks
one.
so emphatically about topics. And people may think like, oh, this or that. They could say whatever the fuck they want. But anything that he has said, and I say this to anybody who watches, there's nothing that he hasn't said or thought of that he probably hasn't already thought of or said to himself. So fuck off. My brother is a good man. He's a good person, right?
For sure.
And your opinions are heard, right? But they hold no weight. They hold no weight in the way that I see my brother here. Both of you guys. You know what I mean? So
You know what's
cheers.
funny is that last week's podcast is the only podcast that I haven't watched back. And
Why?
I just I don't know. I'm not very big on like the whole. I don't like to watch myself in that light. You know what I mean? Like, I hate when something's all about me. Like, it felt weird having a podcast that was solely based around me as a person. Because this is a group effort for me. Like, this is our podcast. You know what I mean? It's not just my podcast. Like, I never tell people like, oh, hey, check out my podcast. You know what I mean? Like, hey, me and my boys do a podcast. You guys should come check it out. So yeah, I haven't gone back. That's why I have no clips of it on my TikTok or Instagram. That's why I don't have any clips, because I haven't gone back to watch it yet.
Interesting.
The only
Interesting.
the only part that I've watched, actually, I don't even think it was. I don't think it was last week. There was a. Oh no, it wasn't last week. No, I haven't gone back and watched any of it. The only time I went, the last stream that I went back to watch was a stream prior to that, when Damo's response to you, you were like, uh, when you text me about that shit, you're like, my bad about that, and Damo's response was, oh, like. I had to get a clip of that because that shit was funny as fuck, bro. But okay, enough about last week's podcast. Okay, I do want to bring up the first question though, since you know we're here to chat about you, and I'm really excited to sit back and listen. You know, a lot of times in these podcasts we do like we sit and listen to each other, but it's a lot of like response and then get a response. Where I'm really happy to finally have a minute for people to sit down and listen to you, just to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you know, with you bringing up the fact that you know you've been talking about the podcast a lot and a lot of the topics that have been on the podcast, and you know people noticing, hey, you're the podcast guy. What would you say throughout this journey? Because what it's been a little over 3 years for you,
Yeah, closing in.
right? About 3 years. So what would you say over the last 3 years? Because it went from Instagram Live to you were doing your anchor streams, and now you're using this streaming platform, and you're seeing now you're using Twitch as well as YouTube. You know this podcast is on Facebook with me, and it's on YouTube with Zero. What would you say that over the last little over 3 years? What would you say your biggest failure has been in the podcast realm? And what have
Mm.
you learned? And what have you learned from that failure, if any, at all?
Oh, I find flaw in everything that I do. I think that's a natural tendency of mine, and I was speaking with Sly about this too actually recently. Was as dancers, we're so quick to look for the critique, right? Because we try to honor it as much as we possibly can. Like somebody's taking the time to you know taking the time to critique your dancing, and that shows love, that shows care, you know what I mean? And so with me, I critique myself, and like I was saying, even for you, I try to be so hard on myself so that nothing that anybody can ever say is ever it could ever hurt me, right? And I think my biggest failure, I would say, is that I come off so callous. I don't think that I speak emphatically enough on certain topics. I don't think I really show my care and the due diligence on certain perspectives. Um, I think I could have done better as far as like making sure that I'm distributing, like the way that you guys do the TikTok videos and this and that. Like, I just don't, I don't find the time for it. I'm kind of like yourself too. Like I hate sometimes I just hate hearing myself talk. I hate the sound of my voice. Hate the sound. Sometimes it's like, I don't really like what I said right there. You know what I mean? Even though it's coming out as authentic as I know how to do it. Um, I don't think I think I've failed in the forms of cooperation, right? And that's one thing that I really do appreciate about the usual Tuesdays is like it was a chance for me to cooperate with two other people, and in Damien's case, somebody I didn't really know that well. You know what I mean? And but he was properly vouched for, coming very well recommended. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure, I'll do this. I mean, I'll fill this out. And 20 episodes later, it's like this is one of the favorite parts of my fucking week. Like Tuesdays, I look forward to talking to my son on the phone, and I look, like especially while I'm on the road. But then I really look forward to doing the usual Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's something that makes me happy, and I think that it shines light on my failure to be more cooperative with people and being more open to, I guess, taking more guests. And so like when you guys are like, oh, this person wants to be on, this person wants to be on, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like I'm game, whatever, because I think that's something I've really failed definitely hard at is being more cooperative with people and being more open to bringing different people on, people I don't know that well or didn't vouch for myself, because I was kind of afraid of what they might say, or where they might go with certain topics, or if I ask them a question it might offend them, and instead of just saying fuck it, let's just ride it, you know what I mean?
Do you think, and you can cut in at any time, Zero, but do you think that, based off of what you just said with the cooperation aspect of that, do you think it comes that route? Because I don't know if everybody knows, but Korps has his own podcast called the Smoking Section, where he does do his own podcast, solo podcast, but he typically has guests on. So my question to you is: do you think that you feel that you failed in that cooperation aspect because the guests that you do have on the Smoking Section are more of that, like guests that you're sitting there to interview and getting to know them better instead of actually having like a discourse and back and forth conversation about topics that you really want to know about, or do you feel like you're just questioning them and going through an interview process with them?
um I would say that, people would ask like, oh, like what kind of got you started on it and stuff, and I always answer with the statement of, I have cool friends that do cool shit, right? And after a while, people are busy, and I think that's a part of the cooperation where I fail to kind of press the issue and be like, hey man, like let's reschedule, or hey, like kind of like really beat it home. And instead I kind of feel more insecure when people have to reschedule, or they have to do this or do that, and I'm like, they just don't want to do the podcast, and so I keep it pushing, you know I never fear the discourse as far as what they may present to me, but as far as my curiosity, right? Because like I was saying, sometimes I may seem callous with my statements that I make, or even the questions I may ask. And like, I shot you that text because I was like, damn, was I too callous in that moment? Like, was I not being, thoughtful enough? Was I not being like sensitive enough to maybe how that question may have came out? Like, or and with other people, there's been people who I've interviewed and I've asked them questions, and it's kind of like I see as they grow quiet, and I'm like, ooh, what did I do? What did I just say?
Mm-hmm.
And like, am I not being thoughtful enough with what I'm doing? And I try to be. I really do. I try to be as thoughtful as I fucking possibly can be. You know what I mean? And I think it's that lack of security in myself and just confidence, I guess, in what's happening in these moments, that keeps me from like, no, 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 I'll talk to somebody who I'm a little more comfortable with, or I'll talk to somebody who I've vetted a little bit more, or I've had a little more extensive conversations with, like Andrew Batterina, right? Prolific fucking dancer, and I look up to him highly. And some of the questions, I knew people wanted to hear, right? But then there was also some other questions where I was like, I should probably keep this off camera. And but I think in that I'm not cooperating with him enough to really let him say things and dive into himself. You know what I mean? Which is a disservice to the podcast. You know what I mean? And it's a disservice to anybody who's listening. It's a disservice to myself because I'm not getting out the questions I really want to ask,
Mhm.
sometimes. And it happens, and it does. And I think that's a part of another one of the pieces of failure. And I do think that falls under that umbrella of cooperating, because cooperation, like I'm trying to operate this thing. You know what I mean?
So,
Coaly.
Mhm.
Coley.
I was gonna say, sorry, really
Go ahead.
quick. I was gonna ask
No,
the
go ahead.
like the inverse. What are like the successes you've seen? I want to know both like on the usual Tuesday and on your own individually, because I feel like they have to be different um, successes that you've seen amongst both of these endeavors. You know what I mean?
Mm, yes, they've both had their own different like moments, but my approach to them have always been the same. I'm always the same person. You know what I mean? I don't think I've switched different hats, right? Where I've
Mhm.
seen guys who host different podcasts, and one might be geared towards, you know, Pokemon cards, and then this one's more geared towards, UFC fighting or boxing or sports, and so they're kind of like wearing different hats. Where for me, I'm just asking questions pertaining to the person that's in front of me. right? So for you guys, we have these conversations, and yes, it operates in a certain way, you know, where one topic is one person, this one, then this one, and you know, we have a certain flow. Um, that's one success though that I'll say is that no matter what, there has always been a flow of conversation. Um, I knew I had that talent as a young man, right? Just being able to gab, right? That gift of gab. Um, I noticed it. I noticed it by doing the smoking section, and I think it became very defined, refined, and defined by doing the usual Tuesday, right? Especially through U0, right? Because
Oh,
again, I
jeez.
didn't know you, didn't barely had any idea who you were. Again, just this young man is coming very well recommended and cool. Like, let's have this conversation. Cisco says he can handle a conversation with me. Bet, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? And I just went from there. Um, some of the other biggest, I think, successes that I've had is just that recognition of, oh, he does a podcast too. Oh, like, you know, and hearing that people always knew me for my dancing, you know, oh, Korps, yeah, he dances and he hosts a podcast. Oh, Korps, he makes clothes and he hosts a podcast. Oh, you know, Monster Beast. Oh yeah, he does this and he does that and he had this guy on his podcast. Um, Even having people who I was on the outs with to come and look at me and say, "I listened to that podcast. It was good." Bet, right? Like
That's a good feeling.
you could sit through 45 minutes, you could sit through 2 hours of my voice to hear what we have to say here tonight. You know what I mean? And to me, that is like, fuck, bro. You know what I mean? I think there's nothing more. And it's not only for me, like on a selfish term, but it's like to say you could listen to me, but it's kind of what we set out to do.
Hello? Yo,
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm on the
Might not
podcast.
agree with Cisco. You might not agree with
Oh,
Damon.
he's on the podcast.
You might not agree with any of us.
Never mind. All right.
But you
All
listen.
right.
And
Bye,
you
bye,
took
bye.
the time to hear us out. And we all, I think, as a society that we are fucking missing the discourse to listen to somebody you might not quite agree with, might not even fucking like them personally, right? But on a certain topic, you might not agree with this person. I mean, we've all had our own disagreements. We've all had our own back and forths, right? I mean, sometimes sometimes it's turned into a whirlwind in this fucking place, dude. But at the end of the night, it's always love you guys, man. You know, this was fun. Like it was fun to sit here and get into this with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like this was good, right? And have perspectives change or agree to disagree or just simply say, hey, man, like we can go out and be like, hey, get him. He believes in this shit. Get him. Like, you know what I
He
mean?
said
Like
he wasn't gonna get kissed in the mouth by his mom.
get him,
Stop,
get him.
bro. What
Like
the
he's
fuck?
fucking weird, a dork, dude. He doesn't kiss his fucking parents. Who does that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and to laugh at these things that make us different, but that also creates the unity between us. To honor that difference, to honor these things that make you uniquely you, and I know you by name. Like, you know what I mean? Like that to me has been, I think, the fucking biggest. If I would have to put my finger on it, is to know that there's people who may not like me or might not agree with me, but they say, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Don't agree with you, but I listened and I understand. You know what I mean? I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
And
because at the end of the day, you just want to be heard, right? Like that's it. And you know, it kind of leads into my next question of, you know, with the style of dance that you do, which a lot of people don't understand crump, right? Um, like I always tell people that you don't understand crump until you've actually gone to like an 818, until you've actually gone to a session, an OC session, a Temecula session, Oceanside session. You know what I mean? Like you don't understand crump, even if you don't dance. Even if you don't dance, just the experience at like an actual session is life changing, in my opinion. So, do you think with you know being heard in crump, which you have been, you know, I don't think a lot of people. I don't even think Damien understands the monumentous things that you've accomplished in that world, which
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely insane. You know, even like who your big homie is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been watching
Shout
Sherman
out.
dance since I was fucking the kid. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but to be heard in dance, which you have been now,
Mm-hmm.
to be felt that you've been heard in this setting with podcast setting, whether it be the usual Tuesday or the smoking section or both, with making a badass fucking clothing line, right? That has been seen, it's worn all across the world. Like you have people in different countries wearing your clothes. You have people in different countries modeling your clothes, dancing in your clothes. Do you think that that all reflects on your want to be heard, and where do you think that stems from? The want to be heard. Like you dance the way that you want to dance because, I know your style of dance, bro. Like you're like, hey, hold on, watch this. You know, like you can see it when you're in a circle, especially when you're in a fucking battle, bro. Like you're. Is there just something like, especially when we did the 805s, and you would like just glance over real quick or do something, and I was like, yo, he's about to kill this motherfucker off. But do you think that stems from somewhere, or do you think it's just your character that you're like, the world's gonna hear me no matter what the fuck I do?
This is gonna take me a second. Um,
Oh, we making motherfuckers cry these next 2 weeks. I'm telling y'all.
We haven't
it
cried in a
definitely
minute.
comes. It definitely comes from. You know, I was the baby boy of so many children, right? And you know, I was kind of, I was kind of babied in, the baby boy. You know what I mean? And so, mama's boy, my sister Adrian always showed me a certain level of love, right? She was our not our oldest sibling, but the oldest sibling that we grew up with, right? Like by the time I was born, my oldest living sister was like fucking 21. You know what I mean? Already a mom and doing her own thing. And so Adrian really, catered to me a lot. Um, and when my parents divorced, we really had no say in any of that. And I was so young, I didn't really like grasp the idea. Like I knew, like Pop was never around, right? So for him to not be in the house anymore was kind of like, okay, whatever, you know what I mean? But then once we moved, it was like, whoa, I don't want to do this. Like, what do you mean we're moving? Like, what the fuck do you mean we're moving? And it was like I had no choice. My opinion, the opinion on the matter was just not heard, and I think it started there. And then as I got older, God, I remember this moment really, really fucking vividly. Um, I came home and I was just fed up with fucking school. I wanted to be with my dad. I wanted to be near my mom, and she like had to work, to support us. And I remember telling her like I hate it here. I hate that you're gone all the time. And she was like, "Baby, I have to." And looking back, I understand, right? But in the moment, it was like, all these emotions are coming out of me, and you're telling me again that this is just how it is. Get over it. Like that's what I heard. This young little fourth grader. Um, and so I would just bury myself in my room, right? And I would try to talk to my siblings about how I felt, or the way that, Pop was making me feel, or the way that my brother made me feel. And it's like, well, you're the baby boy, you get whatever, and you just been baby, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but bro, you ain't hearing me, fam. Like, what the fuck? Like, and just to be silenced in your most vulnerable moments, even as a small child. You know what I mean? And then to get a little bit older, I hit middle school, and all my buddies are starting to become these amazing athletes, and I just wasn't. You know what I mean? And so to kind of see them become of this in crowd, they're the part of the in crowd, and I'm over here like kind of on the sideline, right? And so we all go to the skating rink and Putch has a suggestion, and it's like, oh no, no, we're cool. But then, my friend who are good friends, they may make us the exact same suggestion and they go with it because they said it, right? Because they're a part of that crowd. And it's like, bro, I just said that 5 fucking seconds ago. I just said let's go to the railroad tracks and smoke. You know, I just said let's go hop in the car and go over here. But now that he said it, now it's fucking cool. Okay, cool, bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to not I don't want to say validated, but to be just heard, it was happening not only in the home but even in my social circles. Get to AOV, and then let's go all the way down to AOV status, right? Just being the newbie and getting my ass kicked every fucking week. You know what I mean?
AOV is a dance group, by the way, Demo.
Academy of Villains, prolific dance team, and get my ass kicked, and to make suggestions there, to give critiques and say, who the fuck are you? You're a newbie. Like, okay, sorry. Even choices with my son, choices of how he's going to be born, where he's going to be born, what he's going to be named, and these things was kind of shot down a lot. And it's like, what do I even, why even speak? Why even speak? And it was around the time Elijah was born is when Korps happened. And Korps happened. It happened. I found that voice that I had so desperately needed. I found the voice that I needed. I found the voice that rang true. And I just never shut up. I just never let it shut up ever again. People wonder why I write poetry so prolifically, like, you know what I mean? And so, like, they're like, damn, this is kind of deep. Like, yeah, this is 30 years of pent up words that I wish I could have yelled out from the top of the mountain. And here it is on this fucking piece of paper for you. Like, read it.
You think, because you can see it. I mean, I could see it. I danced with you before the Korps character came about. I danced with you before you started making clothing. I know that you wanted to make clothing with the whole ADC thing. That was your boys. Those were your boys. And do you think now that you have this to fall back on, right? Like Korps is, you are Korps, right? But Korps is your character. Korps is, especially when you dance, Korps is something that comes out and is allows you to speak differently, move differently. I mean, because if you go back and watch videos of us in your garage, and then you see, even after your training with Dread, and then now even with your training with Sherwin, you can tell your dance style is just, it's still you in there, but you're dancing different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that now that you've allowed this alter ego per se, with unleashing all your creativity in clothing, releasing all your creativity in your podcast, with releasing all your creativity in dance and crump, like, and even in your choreography, right? Like, I haven't seen your choreography in fucking years, but but you're still training. I know you're still training. You're always training. But do you think that you, within the, like you said, Corpse came about when Elijah was born, and our sons are the same age. So do you think over the last 5.5, going on 6 years, do you think that you've become a different version of yourself? And I wouldn't say more or less soft spoken, but maybe less cautious in what you do, how you do, what you say, what kind of your designs, the way that you dance, things of that nature, and to the point where it's not like you're saying that you don't give a fuck, but you're like, yeah, like I'm gonna be heard no matter what.
Hey, Corpse, they want to know if we got more dangerous.
Fuck, you went schizo. Holy shit. What just happened?
I had to ask my man's, bro.
He's in bed or he's drinking coffee right now.
Oh wow,
I
non-decaf.
think
That's some crazy shit,
I
actually.
think I think the closest way I could think of it is Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight went through these traumatic he went through this traumatic experience. And in this experience, this alter ego was developed, right? And it's called on in his most desperate times. And I understood, right, that pain of Pop, the anxiety and the pressure of being a dad gave form to this person that allowed me to be exactly who I needed to be in every moment that he was ever called on. And instead of it being hidden in this little box, he's chilling on the couch, you know? And so I do think that it allowed me to be Putch, not Corpse, but it allowed Putch to be the person who spoke out, to allow me to be the person who says, nah, or says, yeah, or says, no, I'm gonna go this direction. Or, oh, y'all are dancing this way. Hey, Corpse champ, let's show them how we do it, right? We're about to show them how we do it. The clothing, right? I do shit different. I don't want to dress in Louis. I don't want to dress in this weird shit that people be dressing in, right? Like my clothes is priced. It's made for people, right, that live a certain lifestyle, right? Because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. And Corpse isn't just dead animals or, this horror stuff. It shows us what's inside of us, right? Like though this beast, right, this fucking gorilla that you're looking at, still when you pull all this shit away, there's still bone. There's bone there, fam. And just like me, just like all of us, there's something inside of us that's there that all brings us all together. Corpse is not only an idea, it wasn't a thing that made me strong. Corpse also reminded me who I am, right? And I posted a lot. I do post it a lot. Is sometimes I have to reintroduce myself to myself. And I posted it recently. It's like I had to fall in love with the stranger of who I once was. And Corpse always reminds me of that. Corpse always reminds me of that. That motherfucker always reminds me of that shit. And yeah, I would have to say that finding that within myself reintroduced me to myself, right? Because I had to get out of that victim mindset of, oh, I was never listened to, and oh, I was never paid attention to, and oh, no one ever, validated my feelings. It's like, fuck them. It's valid now, here in this moment, in this time, like right now, talking about it with you guys. Doing the podcast is validating that all those times I was shut up, all the times I was told to be quiet and deal with it. It's like, nah, I'm gonna speak on it now because
Yeah,
can't
people
nobody
want to
stop.
listen now.
Hey, who's gonna fucking stop me?
Yeah.
Who's gonna stop me? That's why I hope people understand now too a little bit why I may seem so callous. Is I could care less what your opinion is, fam. I'm not telling you not to have one. I'm not telling you not to have one, but I could care less. Right? Say what you gotta say. Say it with your fucking chest, playa, because I'm gonna say what I gotta say with my chest. And I put this shit on wax so that you can play it over and over and over and over again. Right? Bring it up to me in 5 years and let's see if I still have the same opinion. Right? That's cool. Corpse, we gonna have the same opinion? Like, like who knows, bro? We on some different shit every single day, bro. You know what I mean? But for now, this is how we're moving right here, right now. And I refuse to be anything less. I refuse to be anything less than that.
What you got, Damo? You got something? I have a whole list of questions, bro.
I was gonna ask a little bit about the Corpse persona, because I don't know. Obviously, like I feel like I'm a good what is it, like ping point for the audience, because I know you as much as like we've texted and we've been online, so I think I know you probably a little bit more than the audience, but for a lot of
He
this
wants to see your dick.
True. But for the most part, I feel like if I ask, it's just kind of like both the audience and myself. But when you talk about this like Corpse persona, I feel like we all have like usernames, right? We all have like save, zero. So to some degree, I could relate to like having this like other thing that you flip on whenever you're doing something, like when you're gonna design a product for like your line, or when you're gonna go out and dance. Are these different like are they different? Because I know you're not. Oh shit! Sorry, I had a. I heard my dog. Sorry, I thought they were getting into some shit. When you're
about to go out there and help him,
bro,
dog.
it's because
Got that dog in him.
You got that dog in him.
they just got issues. So when you're doing each pillar of something different, is it a different like type? Because I know you're not talking about something. You're not actually seeing like a different version of you. It's like something that you flip on in your head, right? When you
Kind of, a little bit. Korps is a lot more. Korps stands for Crump offers our people self-expression, right? And you could also say creativity offers our people self-expression.
okay.
And I do like to use the X not only just because it looks cool, but the
I didn't
X,
know that.
yeah. X also stands for the variable, right? We all know in algebra, X can mean anything.
Anything, yeah.
So your expression is anything, right? And your creativity offers you a chance to be anything that you want to be, right? There was a girl by the name of Charmaine Bislig, and I look up to her so much as a fucking dancer. And I asked her one time, I was like, what does dance do for you? She's like, I just become something when I'm out there. And I was like, yes. Oh my God, yes. Like I become this thing, like this fucking force to be reckoned with, right? Like I am going to make you watch me. And again, kind of jotting back to like what I was saying before, like you didn't watch me back then, watch me now. You didn't hear me back then, hear me now. You're going to. Your ass is in that seat. And you're about to watch this greatness happen. And I think again, having these friends who are part of this in crowd, I wanted to wear the Air Force Ones. I wanted to wear the South Pole. I wanted to wear the Ed Hardy and all these things. Bro, you get me? I wanted to wear the Echo. I wanted to wear the fucking, Off-White. And it's just not me, bro. It's just not me.
I know two of those brands.
You don't know South Pole or Echo,
Off-White and Nike.
Yeah, he don't know South Pole or Echo, bro. You remember going to Acre Blue? You remember going to Acre Blue and picking up some stuff, bro?
I have never owned a pair of Jordans in my life. I probably never will.
Nah. We're gonna buy some.
Just not my steez, bro.
Look, Damo has two pair of ones
Listen,
sitting
bro,
right behind him.
It doesn't matter, okay? And the forces right there too.
And the forces.
Those are some comfy shoes.
The same girl, Charmaine, bro. I was wearing a shirt to school one day, and I had spilt bleach all over it, right? And I was like, I remember I was telling her, I was like, damn, like I feel so stupid wearing this shirt. She's like, it looks good on you. And mind you, Charmaine is a very pretty girl. And I was like, it does? She's like, it fits you. She's like, I don't think anybody else could really wear it the way you wear it. I was like, oh shit. Like I took that as such a high compliment. And I think about that compliment when I make those clothes. Like this is not only something that I don't want to make clothes that not only that I feel good in, right? But there's got to be a list of other kids who can't afford these $100 shirts, $80 jackets, $80 this, 80, I make shirts, they're fucking 30 fucking bucks, right? Like I pay more damn near delivering them to people than what I'm making off of it. You get what I'm saying? And so it's those tender parts of me that Korps reminds me of. Korps reminds me of this shit. He keeps me humble in a lot of ways. Not only does he give me the confidence he gives me the confidence to remind me of who I am, but he also keeps me humble to be something that I'm not, to not be something that I'm not. You get what I'm saying? Like don't get cocky. Be confident. You know what I mean? Be giving, right? But don't be just selfless, right? You know what I mean? Give. Don't be a pushover. Stand up for yourself, but know when to back up, dog. Know when to say, hey man, we ain't having this, I ain't getting into this right now. And I approach that with my dancing. right? Like I don't get into the chit chat of the Crumpers page, and I don't get into the beef talk. You want rounds? When? What time? I'll be there. Corpse, re-rolling. Boom, I'm there.
I'm
Right. Oh,
sorry. I just want to ask one more question in terms of like, I'm curious on why, because I can only relate to this so much, right? I'm curious on why a corpse is another person to you. Because when I think of like my thing, right, like 0%, or like the other channel that I have is Macadamian. When I think of like doing those, something else flips in my head where I'm like, I know that the person I want to be perceived as in this capacity because of what I'm doing. And I think it would be best, one, for the content, and two, for what I'm really trying to put out in the world. And I'm curious on, why it's a separate entity to you.
he's not. He's not. Though that he may seem, and though I can talk to him like he is, right? Though I can literally like he's sitting right here, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He's the part of me that I needed and didn't have. He's the part of me that I let shut down instead of standing by him, right? Maybe I didn't have the tools. Growing up in a single mother household, we were struggling to get by, and I didn't want to cause too many ripples, and I just kind of started like shelter in and lashed out in certain ways. And again, like Corpse reminds me, like, yo, bro, you don't have to fight. Like there's moments when you don't have to fight, but there are moments to stand up for yourself. He helped this part of Corpse helps me discern between these things, right? The dance character of Corpse himself is based off of Voldemort, right? And Voldemort was this wicked person, right? But deep down, he was a child that never knew love. He was somebody who was afraid of death. You know what I mean? He had his closet set on fire by the man who ended up being his fucking headmaster at the school that he learned from. You get what I'm saying? So he sought out all these things because they were the things that he lacked as a child. You get what I'm saying? And so Corpse became that for me, right? But in the most peaceful of ways, in the most peaceful, but in still the most strongest of ways, in the most determined of ways, and in the ways that, I mean, people might just say brutal, you know what I mean? Because I could care less, right? When I'm in a battle, I could care less how you feel, dog. I'm about to embarrass you because it's me versus you. You know what I mean? And when I speak on these topics, it's like I could kind of care less how you feel because these questions are just coming from a real place. Like they're coming. I mean, we're curious. Like, you know what I mean? We just want to know. Like,
Damo, have you ever seen Corpse dance?
On
Have you ever watched any of his
on Instagram? Yeah. Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, yeah.
I think that is such a small portion. Like you can't feel it through your phone.
Bro, you know what annoys me a little bit? Made me a little bit mad. We were supposed to go up and watch you dance. And I know things didn't pan out the way they were, originally going to.
Sly was there though.
hey, and them boys got off. Damn, them boys got off. Damn, them boys
I wish Sly would have hit me because if I would have known Sly would have been up there, I would have. Damo and I would still probably.
Bro, I would have loved to go up there and see you guys dance. That would be.
But
really
here's the
cool.
thing: is I guarantee you when Corpse comes back, I guarantee you there'll be an Oceanside session, or or something, and I promise you we'll go up. But that's what I was gonna say. It's like that's why I always tell people, like even if you don't understand Crump, every single person on this world understands feeling, understands energy, and if you can go, even if it's like a 10-man session, even if it's only a 10-man session, if you go to that session, just the feelings that you get from being around this and watching is just something else. And then when you have somebody like Corpse, who right? You know Putch. You know who he is. We chat with him every fucking week. But if you go with Putch to the session and it's his turn and he gets in that fucking circle and that right beat comes on, or he's like, yo, play that track again. If he says play that track again, you know something's about to pop off. Or if he brings a track, like if he brings a song that he's ready to dance to, That means he's been in the lab. He's been dancing to this shit. He knows every inch of every beat of that track. But when you sit there and you're about to watch Pudge dance, Pudge disappears. Pudge isn't there anymore. Like you're about to watch Corpse take over his body, and it is like it sounds so weird and mysterious and sci-fi to hear, but until you witness it with your own eyes, after that you'll be like, okay, now I understand. Now I get who the fuck Corpse is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have to see him in his element.
I like to say it that my flesh pulls back and all that is left is the corpse, right? And because I could care less.
What the fuck? What the?
Wild,
Damn,
right?
talk about poetic justice,
fuck?
dog.
That was good.
I could
That was
care
really good.
less. I could care less if you understand what I am doing. I need you to feel it. I need you to feel my human experience, my self-expression, that X in me. This is my X. This is my variable. This is what makes me me.
Bro, I'm blushing. That was fucking good.
I've never been innately talented at a lot of things in my life, but dance and speaking my mind have always came innately. And I don't need y'all to understand, let alone agree with the things I say and or do. I just need you to understand that I feel a certain way and that I'm having a human experience. And when I'm dancing is my most human experience. Not the politics, not the father, not the ex-boyfriend, not the failures as a child. Me, the person who should have spoke up, the guy who should have sat down, the one who went too far, the one who didn't go far enough. In that moment, I make rights of all the wrongs. And I feel like I do it right every single time. And so I could always care less how people ever perceived me while I danced. That's why I don't dance so flashy. You're going to see me bent and contorted and looking fucking wild. Like, you know what I mean? Like, 1 second I'm up and I'm dancing up, and next thing I'm on the ground. Like, whoa, how'd that happen? I don't know. Like, shit, dude. Like, I don't fucking know. I'm just doing shit out here, bro. Like Korps is making me do some wild shit right now, bro. Like, it's like Smeagol to Gollum almost, you know? Like, it just happens. And I could just, like, it's just the one thing is ever just happened for me. And so I just let it happen. I could really fucking care less. You know what I mean? And I've been saying it a few times here over the past few days is there's not a lot of stuff I've ever done well. Just like, you know, there's those kids in class who just picked up math really well, just picked up science really well. I mean, though I was a good student, you know, it came through a lot of study and it came through a lot of question asking and this and that. And I always understood that was my skill. My skill was asking the questions to get to the answer, let alone just looking at the board and understanding what's written. Fuck all that. I need answers, bro. Like, I need answers, bro. You feel me? And I always told myself, if I can't be myself in the dance circle, I'm not going to do it at all. I'm just not going to do it. If I have to be something that I'm not, right? That's why Korps isn't a separate persona. He's me and I am him. Though I rise to that occasion, he gives me that confidence. He gives me that strength to be exactly who I am and to be content in exactly who I am. Nothing more.
It's like Pudge has a chip on his shoulder, but Corpse fills that chip.
Yeah. A God-sized hole in my heart. I had a God-sized hole in my heart, and Korps said, I got you, B.
Bro, that was beautiful. And I just want to say I'm sorry. I ruined the moment a little bit. You were getting, you're getting ready, bro. But I got so hyped about that fucking Korps line. That show was fucking sick. Dude, it had me fucking like giggling right there. Holy shit, that was good.
All right,
sorry.
Korps. All right, hot take, bro. We'll go away from the. I know we've been talking a lot about your dance and a lot about your you know, like you as what's built you. But you know, I think it's important for people to see your passion. I think And that's the thing. Zero and I kind of chatted about it a little bit, and I'm excited that he gets to see a side of you, a little bit more side of you and that's why I picked some of these questions because I know this about you. I've witnessed a lot of this with you. I've spent nights in your garage. We've spent nights driving down to LA to go to these sessions, and I know that this is what really brings you passion. But the people want to know, and I know Zero and I are very curious, but peanut M&Ms or crispy M&Ms?
True.
Peanut.
That's right.
Snickers or Kit Kat?
Snickers.
That's right. 2 for 2. Last one. What's the next one?
I don't know. I fucks with Kit Kat. I did not fuck with
It's
Kit
not
Kat
bad.
for the longest.
It's not bad.
I will say that after I had my first 2 wisdom teeth removed, Kit Kat became a very more strong component for me just because like I wanted something sweet.
Delight.
I like the taste of both. So Reese's Pieces really came back. I really love Reese's Pieces and like Butterfinger. I like peanut butter flavor. I think that's why Snickers kind of takes that comparison. But I haven't found myself eating Snickers as of recently as much as I have Kit Kat because it's just easier for me to chew. You know what I mean?
How do I do a podcast with both of you? I don't understand.
Listen,
like hold on. How are you gonna pick peanut M&Ms over crispy? Okay, let me ask you this: do you fuck with Almond Joy?
Okay, relax.
Just not my first choice.
Is it top 5? Is it in the top 5?
Is Almond Joy top 5?
No.
Thank God.
No.
Thank fucking. Wait. Here's a real question. Number one, number
5 has Almond Joy.
Yeah, bro.
Listen, it might be at the bottom of the top 5, but it's overhated, bro. Justice for Almond Joy, damn it.
Almond Joy is disgusting, and it melts too goddamn fast.
Justice for Almond Joy, bro.
I probably would choose a Heath bar before I would eat
Almond
Joy.
Fuck out of here, bro.
God, bro. Heath Joy, bro. If you get Heath Joy, if you get fucking vanilla or cheesecake fucking ice cream at Cold Stone and put some Heath bar in that bitch, oh my
Fire.
God.
I will fuck with you on that ice cream opinion. I will fuck with you on that ice cream.
Is this on some
Look at that.
Bro?
Korps and I agreeing on ice cream opinions. Okay, here's another one. What's your I want to hear top 3 cereals. We were just chatting about this the other day.
Wait, I don't even think either of us gave our top 3.
No, I think we just said our number 1.
Our number 1.
Yeah, you said Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I think.
I did say Cinnamon Toast Crunch at 1, bro.
No, you didn't say anything.
No,
you haven't said anything yet.
Me and Save talked about it at work.
Yeah, Zero and I were talking about it at work. I said O's. I love O's, bro. O's are top tier.
O's.
Fuck.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch gets too fucking soggy.
Get the fuck out of my face, dog.
Are you scarfing your cereal down? What the fuck is wrong with you?
But I'm just like a normal human being that likes Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Based off of taste alone, we're not talking about textures or anything fucking me up because Reese's Puff cereal
is good.
It's probably god tier cereal.
I'm not mad.
I can give you that.
It's hard for me to eat because I don't know what it is about it, but it hurts like the roof of my mouth.
Yeah, it's like it's got that Cap'n Crunch fucking texture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you guys are going to hate me.
No, please.
Special K with the strawberries.
I'm fucking over Special K. Okay, my girlfriend's on the same bullshit, and I won't stand for it. Not another person in my life.
And it's fucked up. I only say it because what I will do with it is I will take honey and drizzle it over the top.
You couldn't even pick Special K with the chocolates in it?
That one's fire. That is fire. But the strawberry ones is next level because it is also a cereal I will eat dry. No milk, no nothing in it. Put it in a Ziploc bag, roll it, take it to work, and I'll munch on that shit at lunch.
You want to eat freeze-dried fucking strawberries?
It's kind of fucked up.
Fire.
Oh, but you like grape ice cream and stuff.
Yeah, he's a fucking Hey, you know
weirdo.
You're right, Demo. You're right. You like fucking grape ice cream. I'll give you the fucking freeze dried strawberries.
No, wait.
That's your number. Wait, hold on.
That's not
your number one.
That's not number 1.
Yeah.
I would have to say that is the one I keep in my cupboard.
Shot.
I'm not gonna.
In my cupboard. That's
You're
for
gonna
me.
tell me that when you go back to your crib, you're gonna tell me when you get back to the crib and we do another episode when you're at your crib, I can
There will
tell
be
you
a
go.
box of Special K.
You're
There's a box of
tripping.
Special
Will it
K
be
there right
open?
now.
Will it be open?
There's
At
one
your
open
crib?
one in there right now. Yes.
Oh, I thought you were
Yes.
saying that.
Wait,
I
wait,
thought you
okay,
said at the
wait.
hotel at first, bro. I was
Me
about to say
too.
you're
Travel
fucking
size.
cracked.
Yeah,
You're
we
fucking
really about
cracked.
it. Wait, real quick. What's two and three? What's 2 and 3?
2, I would have to say Reese's Puffs.
I'll give you Reese's Puff. If you
Wow.
would have put
It
Reese's
would-
Puff at 1, I would have been okay.
That
with
would have been
It
good.
would be number one. It would be number one, but I just can't because it fucks my mouth up. I'm telling
Sure,
you. But based
yeah.
off of flavor alone, I would put that at number one. But because of its eating quality, I gotta put that at number 2. That is a pain I will endure just for the simple satisfaction of eating Reese's Puffs cereal. Like, my mouth will be fucked up afterwards, but I am down to endure. Number 3 is that's tough. That's tough. I want to be.
If you say
modest.
Raisin Bran, I'm leaving this
Oh,
chat
Oh,
right
no,
now.
somebody said
no,
Raisin Bran. Who said
absolutely no
Raisin
way.
Bran?
My boss.
Oh yeah, that's
That
true.
is like
That's true.
Jeffrey Dahmer
fucked up.
psychopathic fucking type behavior. If you
fucked
say,
up.
I'm gonna wake up today and start my day with some raisin.
That's
bran."
true. Your
Well, we
your boss
already
actually,
know your feelings about fucking raisins, motherfucker.
They're great. They are an amazing
raisins are good.
snack.
Raisins are good.
You know
I
what's
am not
funny? I was
arguing
actually
with
having. I was at my job. I work at a call center. I have my headset on. I'm talking to somebody, and there's another gentleman that sits next to us that listens to the podcast. And I was talking about the discussion about grapes and raisins, and he started fucking cracking up. And he was like,
Oh,
"You're really
yeah.
talking about shit that you talk about on your podcast at
Oh
work?"
yes, it's real. It's real.
I need to hear number 3. This is important.
Fuck, dude. I mean, it's hard, bro. There's a couple I would throw out there.
Do y'all eat cereal like that though?
I do.
I do, yeah.
And it's so unhealthy.
Yeah, it's
But
really
it's
bad.
like it's an easy snack. It's an easy breakfast meal. You know, if I got to
think I have
rush,
cereal in my pantry.
I would have to say like Frosted Flakes.
Okay, here's the thing about Frosted Flakes.
With or without sugar, yeah. Or-
Since I was a kid, well, Frosted Flakes is sugar.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sorry.
Since I was a kid, I've always much preferred cornflakes and putting my own sugar
That's
in
fucked
than
up.
Frosted Flakes.
Because you would douse
That's
it
a
in
fucking
sugar,
Mexican thing. Yeah,
Because you would
bro.
douse it
I
in
was
sugar.
fucking-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I would do.
You
the
know what I'm
same
talking
shit.
about, right?
Yes,
It's the
of course.
cornflakes. The cornflakes, dog.
Cornflake.
Yo, but real
Cornflakes.
quick, if we could do additives, number one, hands down on everybody's fucking list, at least who's Mexican, maybe, I don't know, is Cheerios with banana slices.
Bananas?
Yup.
With
Yeah.
banana.
That's at peak.
I'd much rather have them with the cornflakes. Bananas,
Frosted-
cornflakes,
That's okay
and
too.
sugar.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Bananas with the Frosted Flakes. I would eat it all the time, but then once I was introduced to it with a little bit of banana, I was like,
It's a game
this
changer.
is orgasmic. I would never
True.
go back.
It's weird.
Okay, I'm gonna put you guys up on game then too. If you get the honey bunches of oats, the
And
yellow
put banana,
box,
and then put banana. Oh wait, what did I say?
and peanut butter.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah.
If you put a
That's really
scoop
good.
of peanut butter and then like mix it so that the peanut butter kind of gets a little mushy in the milk,
Mhm.
and then eat it like that, it's fire.
It's
I'm
amazing.
about to put you up on some more game. If you take those same fucking what is it? Honey bunches of oats, and you crush them up, and you fucking get an egg wash and get your chicken in the egg wash and put the honey bunches of oats on the
Oh.
outside of the chicken and bake it, bro. It is legit the best chicken you. My mother has been making that chicken for me since I was a child, and every year for my birthday, that's all I ask of her is to make me that.
That sounds
I
amazing.
do want
Fire.
to say I would put honey bunches of oats as an honorable mention on that list because of its versatility. Like, you know what I mean? You can throw it in this, you can add that, you can add this, you know, mixing it with some fucking ice cream and like spinning it. You know what I mean? Like even with Frosted
Fuck
Flakes.
yeah.
Frosted Flakes is I mean, I showed Elijah that shit and he's bonkers for that. You know, you take some ice cream, put some Frosted Flakes in there, whip it around, throw some chocolate syrup. I mean, it's fried ice cream. Done. Like, you know what I mean? It's a broke man's fucking fried ice cream, but it's banging. Like, you know what I mean? And like slice up some banana in there. It's just so versatile. Like, you know what I mean? So you buy it and it just serves so many purposes, let alone in a bowl with milk, fucking gas by itself. And dude, I'm up at 2 a.m, high as giraffe pussy, and I just like, dude,
What?
Frosted Flakes is just like, just let's do it. Like,
What
you know
the
what I mean?
fuck?
Like, this is going down. Like, this is happening.
Well, unpopular opinion, in my honorable mentions, frosted mini wheats.
Oh, mini wheats are gas. Oh my
They're
god, they're
good.
so
I
fucking
just don't put
good.
them.
Bro, you let it soak the
Mm.
fucking milk in, and then you grab it and you put the frosted side down on your tongue.
You're getting a little too specific, all right? Chill.
Yeah,
Ah,
it's too much.
baby.
You're getting a
Too much
little weird
chocolate
with
for me.
it.
That's
I've told
chocolate.
you you know what? We're not even gonna go there. But
Dude,
yeah,
you sounded
okay.
like you wiggle your toes when you do that shit. You sound like your toes are going like this. When you do-
I have had a woman or two make me wiggle my toes before. I'm just saying.
Why? I was talking about cereal, dog. I was just keeping it wholesome.
All right. Let me see what my. You got any questions? Or what's up? You come on, Demo. I need you.
Sorry, real quick. Honey bunches at 2. Apple Jacks
He's
at
really
3.
serious about
Apple Jacks at 3. Amazing cereal.
okay, I
Goated
can give you
cereal.
Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks is good.
Goated cereal.
I would say top, maybe like 5 or 6ish. Maybe I'll throw
Wow.
Apple Jacks up in there.
right. Let me ask you this. I'll ask you this. So we're going on from the fun, to something that everybody that watches the podcast knows that you do. You're not doing it tonight, unfortunately, but everybody in the podcast knows that you do. So I'll bring a question up regarding that. Everybody knows that you're a coffee drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows. I know. I was looking for the coffee tonight. I was one. Oh,
I was drinking.
Oh,
coffee.
damn.
there it is. There it is.
Cameo.
Everybody knows you have a coffee and a joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could have coffee with anybody in the world, dead or alive,
Wow.
who would you have a coffee with? But you only have the amount of time to speak with them until your coffees are up. As soon as one of your coffees are up, the conversation's over.
We just never drink coffee. What if you just never drink it?
Besides some obvious picks, right? Grandpa, pops.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Salma Hayek.
What the?
No. If there was people, I would love to speak to somebody like. That's a good one, and it's kind of hard to put it on the spot. Like, I would love to speak to some people like Marcus Aurelius, bro, or like somebody like Alexander the Great. You know what I mean? Somebody who achieved such wonders of the world. You know what I mean? And just sit and be like, was there ever a moment? You know what I mean? Like, was there? And to have those type of that type of conversation with them. Dead, right? So somebody prolific like that, the Aristotles of the world. Because I mean, there's a list of bones somewhere of people who are just as prolific as them. Um, Living, dude, I'd love to have a fucking coffee with like Mike Tyson, bro. I'd love to have bro. I would love to sit and have some coffee with Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Or a Lex Friedman. Elon Musk, Buzz Aldrin, uh, Jesus Christ, but
Well, I don't think you can have coffee with him, but
Buzz Aldrin,
oh, Jesus Christ.
or even him.
him.
Even that man.
I don't-
I'd be like,
I don't know.
hey, bro, let's be real. Come on.
Oh shit! I had the opportunity. I had to take it, bro.
Come on, did you really walk on the water, bro? Let's just.
How'd you do that magic trick?
You can tell me. Like, I won't tell nobody. Let's just stop drinking that coffee so fucking fast. What you doing? The Edgar Allan Poes, the Shakespeare's, and just kind of like talk and hear, because people who speak poetically, you know what I mean. It comes out in all facets of their life, and so to be able to go back and forth over a nice cup of coffee would be cool. Charles Luciano would be a good one, especially somebody like that, like Italian, because they I was taught that if you drink your coffee fast, right, the conversation is no good. The conversation is no good. But if you have a full cup of coffee and it grows cold, that means you're having a good fucking time. So I hopefully he would have a full cup. You know what I mean? Through most of our conversation. Um,
Do you think the
damn.
opposite? Do you think it's the opposite for alcohol?
Yes,
Wait, what? Is it really?
absolutely. Yeah, like or wine. Like if you're having wine with somebody, your that cup is supposed to stay full, right? Like even as you're
A cup of
serving it.
wine?
Yeah.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay.
And that's why like in the restaurant industry they teach you just grab the bottle and pour it, right? Because you're creating this illusion that this conversation is going on longer and longer and longer and longer and longer, and they're having such a good time. They look at the bottle, it's gone. It's like, oh my god, let's get another one. You know what I mean? Let's keep this going. That's where the actual fucking mentality is at. You know what I mean? You want to keep these cups full. Not only that they get drunk and you get them to buy more, but it stimulates the mind and the idea that this conversation is stimulating, right? You're spending more time talking to each other instead of getting fucking drunk, right? And taking shots and drinking beers. I mean, a lot of people go in with it with the intent of being drunk. But if this is a conversation, what is it like a favor conversation favor, then it's there as an accessory to our conversation. You guys might not notice, but I never run out of coffee when we do these podcasts. I think there's maybe been one or two where I actually finished my cup of coffee. My coffee here is cold. You didn't even notice that I had coffee. So that tells you about the
But you
conversation.
noticed that I was drinking.
Oh, because I watch you.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. That's why I said is it the opposite. Because I think it's the opposite for alcohol. I think if the alcohol is flowing while you're having a conversation, the conversation is good. It means you don't want to leave. Whereas I get I don't drink coffee, but I get your perspective on the coffee portion of it.
I can see that perspective, but I think also at the same time, you're drinking it in a different manner, right? Like there's a different intent behind you having that drink, right?
Sure.
Like this is helping stimulate your mind, right? You're trying to get yourself geared up and make sure that you're like in it to win it, right? And even at the bar experience and drinking at the bar is supposed to lead to a certain result, right? Whether that's going home together or hitting the dance floor or, like just making sure everybody's loose, woo, woo, woo. But if I'm having dinner with my friends, what I mean, my good pals, this my glass of wine might not ever empty. You know what I mean? That's why generally I won't buy a bottle of wine. It'll be, let me just get a glass and we'll play it from there. But if the conversation's good and we're here for 2 hours, let's get that bottle going. You know what I mean? We're gonna need a bottle of wine over here, people, and especially depending on the group. And there's a lot of factors. But the general idea is like the longer it's there, the better the conversation. That's why red wine is a good conversation wine. It's generally served warm.
What you got, Zero? Look like you got a lot on your mind.
No, I'm okay.
Oh, he didn't come prepared. Zero didn't even come prepared, bro.
No, I'm okay. Sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, let me ask. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something real fast. And this, because I wanted to touch on this earlier, but you, Zero, I had wound up asking a question, and it was per the topic of the callousness and the way that we conduct ourselves via this podcast, and a lot of things aren't off topic when we do this podcast, right? I think we've all kind of discussed our line, right, for the most part.
Mhm.
But do you think that that's what makes this podcast so successful? And I don't mean successful in a sense of hundreds of viewers or thousands of playbacks, but I mean just the fact that we were even able to make it to 20 episodes is that there is no holds bar when it comes to the conversations that we have, and we all know at the end, like for 20 plus weeks, we've texted each other like, "Great podcast tonight, boys. Love you guys. Can't wait to do it till next week." Like, do you think that the fact that there is really no line or no limit to what we push, and we know each other's character when it comes to this podcast, that makes it to where we want to do it again next week?
Absolutely. And I think that is what's going to make us, um, not only make us successful, but it will create us to be one of the far superior podcasts, right? Whether we ever get millions and millions of views. I think that the ability for us to speak, no holds barred, kind of ask the questions that we really want to ask, and we're doing it in a manner of respect, right? Though the question may be kind of touchy, or it might be, you know, we have kind of like discussed certain lines, even though it is for the most part no holds barred. Um, we have the common decency with each other to not go in certain directions because a conversation might not be going in the direction that we want it to go, right? Like me and Damo can be fucking agreeing on something that you're disagreeing on, and you don't lash out in a certain way just because you're not getting the conversation to flow a certain direction, and vice versa between all three of us. um I think, and again, I think that's not only what society needs, right? But that's what also creates the demand for what we do, right? Because it's needed. It's basic economics, right? There's a need, you fulfill the need, success, boom, done. You know, um, and I think that's what's going to always cause people to come back and listen to us. I think that's what causes people to tune in to your guys' stream, my stream, the 70 whatever fucking subscribers I got now. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out to the loyal subscribers. Um, yeah, no, but to answer the question, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. The ability to sit in a space for 2 hours every week and have our ideas challenged, to have our views heard and explained in an area where it's respected, right? An area where it's cherished and heard, valued, not always validated, which is also very good. I think that's I I think that's probably the most. I think that's probably one of the most prolific parts of it is that we come together and we don't always agree, and to have people on either side of the aisle who say, "Oh, you know what? I agree with Corpse," or "Oh, you know what? I agree with Cisco," or "Oh, no, I agree with Damo on this," or whatever. Like I had this person slide in my messages and was like, "You know what? I agree with Cisco, but I hear what you're saying. Please explain this a little more." You know what I mean?
Us.
And I think that's amazing.
Some ass.
Oh. But it's amazing. It's amazing. It illuminates the truth. You know what I mean?
My bad. I didn't mean to jump in front of you, but I had that question in my mind. I wanted to ask it before I forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, there was something that you wanted to ask right now, wasn't it?
Not in particular. I'm just listening. I'm just listening to what you guys have to say and everything. No, I mean, sorry. I got super sidetracked with some stuff. So I kind of
You
like
okay?
zoned out for a second. I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Good though?
Yeah, I'm okay. Snap back.
You want to talk about
it? Next week's gonna be all about me. Okay. Maybe
we can talk about it right now. Corpse is open to
it.
Yeah, dude. Fuck all that. You right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I'm okay. No. I don't know. I like. I was like losing myself for a second there, and then I was able to like snap back. So nothing crazy.
You seem antsy.
No,
you seem a little like bothered and like you seem like you want to talk about it, but you seem like you don't want to talk about it because this is Corpse's week. But if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. It might make you feel better by talking about it if you're open to it.
I was just spiraling, There's some things for the audience. I won't go too into detail, but over the weekend something happened, and
Mm.
I'm still. I'm pretty okay for the majority, right? Like for the most part, this whole podcast I've been great. Um, all day today I've been great. Yesterday was worse, and I think I'm just coming off the remnants of like what happened. And I started to feel like the train was running down of like the thought pattern of what happened originally,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt myself starting to like almost like I had VR goggles and I was taking them off like slowly, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like losing it for a second. I couldn't hear like you guys, but but I'm okay. Like I was able to bring myself kind of back. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I was like kind of like I didn't know what we were talking about anymore at some point.
Mm.
But I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
I was
man.
doing
Listen,
okay.
dude. There's new directions in life, right? Are always revealed to us after a fire burns, right? And so there may be a fire burning in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And just understand that a new direction will be revealed to you, and it's okay. Like sometimes you gotta let the ash subside and the smoke clear, and sometimes it takes a day, sometimes it takes 2 3 weeks, and there's
Yeah.
been plenty of fucking podcasts that you guys probably never realized, but I was in the middle of fucking crisis, like holding on for dear life. And like when I tell you guys that these conversations really do it for me, they really fucking do it for me, bro.
Yeah.
And so just, we're here, you're safe, we're okay, you know what I mean? Like we understand. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Love.
it's a true statement. I mean, it's funny, right? Because we were talking about Corpse earlier, and you were like, "Oh, you understand that we have to put on a certain persona sometimes when we come on these podcasts," and we do to a certain extent, right? Like at the end of the
Mhm.
day, we are all ourselves when we sit and chat on this. But nobody knows what happens right before we go live. Nobody knows that we sit and talk for a couple
In the
minutes
green
before
room.
we go before we go live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But it happens. Look. I'll tell you like this. Before we got on tonight, I had literally just got off the phone with my mom. Her one of her good friends just passed away today,
Oh,
and her son
Ah.
found her dead. And I called I was on the phone with my brother, and he told me, and I called my mom just to make sure she was okay. So um, the fact that we go through these things and we're not, and that's what I love so much about this podcast is, and that's why we were bringing it up with Corpse, is that we're not just like a um fun group podcast. Like we have fun. People love to see the banter between the three of us, but there's like real life things that I wasn't even gonna bring this up. I went to the gas station to go put gas in my car and fill and grab the lottery tickets, and I bought a couple kombuchas, and this young lady came in and she was like distraught because she couldn't put air in her fucking tires. So I told her, I was like, "Hey, I'll put the air in your tire. I don't mind." And the fucking air pump thing like was broken. And she was sitting. She said, "I've been out here for 15 minutes trying to figure out what was going on." I said, "Can you make it across the bridge and I'll meet you over there and I'll put gas in your car. I'll put air in your tire." And she went and I filled up all four of her fucking tires. Like I wasn't even gonna say that, bro. And I was thinking about that too. I was like, "Should I say this in the podcast tonight?" And I was like, "Nah," because people don't need to know about that. But it goes to show like people don't know what we do on our daily lives prior to when we turn the camera on.
mhm.
So
Mhm.
like just remember that we're real people at the end of the day, and you're gonna go through the things that you go through, and we've already had a conversation about this, and we all go through our shit, bro. And like I told you yesterday, and Corpse's analogy about the fire is perfect, right? A fire doesn't last forever unless you
Mhm.
keep feeding it. And if you continue to feed that fire, that's the only thing that'll make it burn. So just remember that. You know what I mean? And just remember that you are here still. You're here today. You're here with us. You're enjoying yourself. We're having a good time, regardless at the end of the day. So but we are people, bro, and we remember that about each other. So
Mhm.
you know what I mean? If you're open and you want to talk about how the fuck you're feeling right now, like sometimes it'll make you feel better. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It is what it is. Sometimes people feel better with talking. Sometimes people feel better with keeping it in. So that's why I just wanted to, and I like I said, I know Corpse doesn't mind. He wants to hear what the fuck is on your mind too.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. But I also just didn't want to come off as like, oh, I just like doze off or some shit. Um,
Yeah.
you know what
I
I
know
mean?
we're boring sometimes.
No,
Bro,
no.
mind you, this is like, I mean, what we're and I know, like, and we don't have to beat down that path too much, but mind you, and I hope everyone listening, man, especially to my guys, because I hate women, is this is what it's kind of what me and Cisco would do about these conversations, like especially on the smoking section, was men don't talk enough, amongst ourselves. We don't find the proper counsel, the proper, the just those proper dudes, bro, when we're talking, and we could be ourselves, you know what I mean, and really talk about the shit that's eating us. We get so quick into this prefabricated, hey man, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. All right, cool, man. Yeah, later. It's so fucking rehearsed. It's so just bleh, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like turning a fucking doorknob, bro. Like, you do it every day, but do you really do it, or do you just, is it a reflex type of thing?
Mm.
And so whatever, Cisco with his stuff, you with yours, bro, like, I'll be real, and this is gonna probably
What? You
I
fi-
texted you guys, like, I need this podcast, right? Because last
I
night,
was actually gonna ask you about that.
um
You found out you had another baby. Oh, okay.
last night, man, I broke my fucking son's heart, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And I think people, I'm glad that Damo decided to do this with us, bro, because people need to see these parts of us, man. Like, we get so wrapped up in not, saying that we don't give a fuck and all this stuff. And it's like, no one ever fakes, no one ever fakes being depressed. They fake being happy, you know? And yesterday, like, I don't think I've talked to you guys about this yet, bro, but the fam's not moving to Pennsylvania anymore, bro, and my whole everything of my life, I'm already out of my lease and all this shit, and it's like I'm already geared to be in North Carolina, and some of my family's in Cali right now, and I'm supposed to be there, and they were going to go down to Temecula and watch me dance and all this shit, and it was supposed to be this whole extravaganza, and shit, went in another direction. And I was on the phone with my boy last night, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, you have fun with anti-aging and all this shit?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be so much fun, when I go to North Carolina, you get to see her more." And he goes, "You're still moving?" And the little look on his face, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, I broke my son's heart, fam, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Yes, baby, daddy's still moving." And bro, he was just crying, dog, like, just fucking crying, champ. And I was like, "It's okay, baby." Like, I'm trying to, like, console him, and he goes, "I'll always have the memories." I'm like, "Baby, I won't be gone. Like, daddy will always be here." I was like, "Daddy will always be here, baby. Like, we're just gonna be apart for a little bit, like, and I had a conversation with his mom before that, like, bro, I was so desperate. I was like, "Yo, I'll fucking move you to North Carolina. I'll pay the rent. Like, just don't take me from my boy. Just don't make me be without him. Like, fuck, yo, like." Because he's been the one thing in my life that I know besides dancing, champ. Like, and that's why, like, that shit hit me hard when I was saying it earlier. Like, he's the one thing that has came fucking innately to me, has been loving him, and has been has been being his dad. being his friend and being his pal, you know. And I was telling him, I was like, "You're my guy, man." I was saying, "I'll let nothing in this world come in between us, Elijah Phillip." And people don't know, but Elijah is a fucking prophet. He's a prophet of the Bible, and he was depressed and suicidal. You know what I mean? And God spoke to him and said, "My son, you are chosen. You have been chosen for this." You know what I mean? And so I look at my son and tell him, "You are strong enough to endure this because you are my son. You are of my flesh and of my bone." And Corpse knows more than anybody. That motherfucker knows more than anybody that when you pull back that fucking flesh down to the bone, baby, we can do this. There's nothing that you could put in front of us that we can't get through. You know what I mean? And I don't care how people see it as me crying and all this other shit. Dude, it's who I am. And I'm content with being exactly who I am. And I'm thankful for being able to do that with you guys. Like, you know what I mean? You guys give me the space to be exactly who I am without regard and without shame, and my voice is heard and these tears are seen, and I'm not alone in my room crying like how I was here last night. You know what I mean? Just laying on the fucking floor crying. But we go through these things together, like, you know what I mean? And we're in this shit together, fam. You know what I mean? Like I told y'all last week, like we've built a covenant here, and the blood of the covenant is much thicker than the water of the womb, and that really speaks to the effect when I remember I told Damon, "All who wander aren't lost, fam." Like, you know what I mean? Like we all suffer in our own ways, as gentlemen. You know what I mean? Cisco and I have relatable sufferings because, we're fathers and we've dealt with certain stuff. Damien, you have felt some of his sufferings. You know what I mean, with your own experiences. You know what I mean? And I definitely want to speak to that effect because he spoke on it so much last week. And spoke on so much of his own things, and we all relate in our own different ways. And the covenant we've built here, boys, is truly like, I told myself if I could just get to the fucking podcast, I'll be all right. I just gotta get there. Like I just gotta get through this fucking day. I just gotta get through these hours, these next few hours, and it'll be all right, bro. I got to the hotel, got to fucking pacing around in here, and I was like, "God damn it, when's this fucking podcast starting?" Like, God damn it, God fucking damn it, dude. Like, these motherfuckers. That's why I texted. I was like, "What time are we doing this?" Like, I need this shit bad, like crack. Like,
bro, you should have told us,
bro, I hopped into the green room and this motherfucker was singing and shit.
Yeah, bro, but like you guys extend that to me and we extend it to, like, it's extended to all three of us. Like if you need us in here sooner, like we could be here sooner. Like fuck the live, fuck the podcast. Like we just chat in the green room beforehand, an hour, 2 hours beforehand. Fuck it. Like, just to make sure you're okay and you're doing everything that you can, your power. So,
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all do it. You know what I mean? Like little bits and pieces of these woes and these sorrows come out, during the podcast and in the green room and in our chat. You know what I mean? But as men, we say, if I can just get a little bit of it out, if I can just get a little out, I'll be all right. You know what I mean? Just let the fucking teapot off a little bit. I'll feel better. And
that's funny that you just said that because that was literally the analogy that I was just thinking in my head while you were weeping. Was that this was the pot heating up and this was the steam finally coming out. And then now as the dust settles, the tea it just goes back to boiling.
Yeah,
that's so fucking crazy that you just said that because that's literally what the fuck I was just thinking. And sometimes that's what needs to happen, right? It's like you just need the steam just needs to come out sometimes.
And I know, and I know, like, we all go through our own shit. Yeah, and you're exactly right. Sometimes it's just a little bit of that steam off the top, and it's enough to get us. It's enough to get me to next week, man. It's enough to get me to next week because there's going to be new bullshit, other stuff, and just put it back and then keep it pushing, bro. Keep it pushing. I love you guys, man. I really do.
I love you, brother.
I love you too, man.
You feel a little bit better?
Yeah, enough. You know what I mean? Enough. And I spoke to him earlier, bro. I spoke to him earlier, and he was like, "Oh, like when you come home, like we get to do this and do that, and we're going to make sure we do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, baby. Like, yes, yes, we are. Yes, we are."
I want to say
That's more
something.
important to
I
me.
want to say something really quick, especially it like speaks to the type of fathers you are. And I want to give a huge compliment to both of you because it's amazing to see just the way that you guys tell me that I talk about my relationship and like how you could just tell something is true is how I can tell both of you obviously love your children independently so much because I can just in the way like you can tell me one story and I'm like, oh shit. Like the way that you say the words are sometimes so important than just like the story. You can tell me some boring ass story about some like gas station trip you had with your kid and it would feel like the most loving story because it's coming from both of you that like, you guys are amazing humans. So
Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. It's it's again, it's something I've always since his birth, and I don't tell many people this, but when he was born, right, his mom was like on the verge of fucking dying, and I remember holding him in my hands, and I remember she's like I'm trying to stand beside her and be there for her, and she goes, "Go with him," right, and so I'm with Elijah, and next thing they're letting me hold him, and she's kind of like starting to kind of balance out and all this stuff, and the first words muttered to him from his father, as I leaned over into his right ear, I said, "God loves you," and I leaned over into his other ear and I said, "Mommy and Daddy love you." I remember I pulled back and I was like, "Sorry to break it to you, champ, but I'm your pops." Like sorry to break it to you, dude, but I'm your dad, man. And I think that's just something that just innately came to me, bro. And I know Cisco definitely feels it, and Damien, one day you will feel it. Being a father is an innate ability, right? Being a bad dad to me is probably this has to be one of the most difficult choices a man can make. Being a
You have
good
to
father,
try. You have to try to be a bad father.
to be a bad
Like
dad.
there's three differences, right? Like you're a great father, you're a father, or you're a bad father.
Mm-hmm,
And I think that the ability to be a bad father is something that you choose to do
mm-hmm,
personally. Is what I think.
mm-hmm.
Being a father comes natural, but being a great father is something that you strive to do. I think.
It's an
And
effort put forward every single day.
yeah, man, and and that's
You crying,
the
Cisco?
no, my eye itches. Um,
I
the way that the way that Korps was talking about um that Corpse came about when Elijah was born. Um, like it kind of like it hits me because last week I talked about how this my passion for loving everybody and just wanting to be good to everybody. That passion rose tenfold when Peanut was born. Um, and especially when he became like 1.5, 2 years old, it got even crazier, right? Because I continue to preach on the fact that we should love how children love, and it really like this story that Corpse is talking about right now. It it really hit me. It really hit me stronger because kids only know how to love one way, right? Children aren't born with hate in their heart. They're not born with prejudice in their heart. They're not born with sorrow in their heart. All they know how to do is love. So, if we continue to love people in that manner, we need to love like children do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that Elijah is sad that his dad is moving away. I mean, that may be it, but he's sad because the distance of love is different.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna feel that love differently. You know what I mean? But coming from Putch's standpoint, the love isn't any different. It's Putch's job to help Elijah feel that love differently because he is further away. So the challenge now comes to Putch, and it's like, and I have there's every bone and fiber in my body that knows that Putch will not skip a beat to help his son feel loved. But it's he has to have it embedded in his brain on how does a child love and how can I love him back exactly like that and show and not skip a beat on that love. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean that it hits me like there's just something about kids, bro. When it comes to like and like watching you break down, you know, I have a lot of love for you, brother. I love you like my own fucking brother, and watching you break down like that, it makes me sad. It makes me sad that you're breaking down because I know that where you come from, place of hurt. But it makes me happy in that same light because you are a good father. Like Damien said, you know, we commented on on his love for his girlfriend and I love Damien's girlfriend. You know, Damien tells me little stories here and there about shit that she'll say about the podcast, and she said that she's open to being a guest on the podcast, but she can't show her face, so that'll be fun.
That'd be cool. Yeah, man. We'll see what we can
but
do.
but yeah, I mean, watching you break down for that, it makes me so happy to have a friend and a brother like you because I know that you care for your son so much, and that love that you have for your son is unmatched, and is unattainable by people that don't have children, and it's just beautiful. Everything that revolves around love is beautiful to me, but that and being able to break down in front of people and be vulnerable like that is just it shows how much your son means to you, and I love that because that's what he should mean to you. You know what I mean?
Thank you. And one thing I hope people take from it, and especially if they're parents, right, is though children are resilient, they need us, right? They need us in their life, and we have to find the capacity to be there for them, in whatever capacity that it is, right? Whether you're with your significant other, or whether you're like myself, where fate took a different turn, and I told him that there is no distance nor time that would ever change the way that I feel for him. And that I've always believed that a part of my dad's soul found his way into him. And that I have thought that from the moment that he was in his mommy's belly. And I told him that I would love him in this life and in the next, and every life that followed, until the day that he's the daddy and he gets to love me like I love my son, and that I would be his. And that would be a day that would make me very happy because I am so proud to be his dad. Korps was revealed to me when he was born and gave me the strength to be the father that I needed to be for my son. And people don't understand why I can talk to I could talk about Korps the way that I do. Because when he took his first breath of life, Korps gave me my second. He gave me a new lease on life and said, "You have all the strength to be the father that your dad wasn't. You're more than strong to be the father that this young one needs." And that's why I said, God, that's before anything else. I said, God loves you, son, because he will lead me back to you in every single life that ever passes, because you are of my flesh and you are of our bone, me and your mom. You had no choice in that, Playboy. we 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 made that decision on a cold night in February, bruh.
Oh, there's a lot of tequila involved with that one.
I still remember the night. I still remember the night when I looked at Sid. I was like, I think that might have happened. Um, and in every life, and I hope when people love and they choose to love in whatever capacity, in whatever person, thing that they choose to love, I hope that they love it endlessly, and in every life. I hope that they find that peace, and I hope that they find that, that joy, like you said, Cisco. And I even said this to Rosie, was that Elijah changed my capacity of love. He changed the capacity and the way I'm able to love people, because the way that he loves me, he's never his love for me has never faltered because I was a bad kid, or because I smoked weed, or I got, went to jail, or did this, or because I dance. He just loves me because I'm fucking dad, I'm just me here, and then so many facets of my life, that was what I felt, like I had to be this thing or this person or do these things to be loved by people or to be heard, and when I say something, fucking Elijah listens. When I tell him sit your little ass down, he sits down. When I tell him go say sorry to mommy, he goes say sorry to mommy. When I tell him go get your ass in that bed, he goes and gets his ass in that bed, boy. Get off that couch, and he gets off that couch. And it's not just obedience or fear of authority. It's because he loves his dad and he's gonna listen, man. I'm telling you for a reason, you know. And I really hope people find that in their lives. I hope that they're not blind to it, and I hope that they find their way to it for real, fucking for real.
I'll ask you this, Corpse. I'll ask you this in closing. If there was one question that you wanted to be asked tonight, one question in an interview that you would want to be asked, what would it be?
Um, I'm not sure, brother. I'm not sure. I mean, I ponder a lot about my own life, and so I just feel like I ask the questions a lot, Um, hmm, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we can do a round two of all these interviews one day. Um, I just I mean, damn, you guys asked me questions I hadn't thought of in a long, like stuff I hadn't thought about in a long time. Um,
The cereal list.
the cereal list was a good one.
Sure.
I don't think a lot of people know how I started dancing. I think that's a good one. Um, yeah, or who was like the first inspirations, and a lot of people never know that.
Okay, the second part of my question would be based off the question that you weren't asked tonight that you would like to be asked. How would you answer that?
Shout out to my sister Emma. Shout out to my sister Emma Andrade. Um, she's a phenomenal chef, an amazing dancer as well. I still think she's a better dancer than me. Um, I seen her moving one day, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And she's like, "It's called crump." I was like, "Okay." And then I saw a video. She showed me a video of tie dyes, and then this was like YouTube's infancy. It's like 2008, and I stumbled across a video of J Slot, and I was like,
Damn,
"Holy!"
J Slot videos, bro.
Shout out Sky High, Mr. Slotty Boy himself. I told him, I was like, "You are probably the reason I started crumping. Besides my
Isn't that?
sister."
Oh, hold on, time out. Isn't that crazy that the person that got you starting to crump, like you got to talk to him?
In the flesh, and he was
That's
everything I
fucking
had hoped.
crazy.
Everything I had hoped for. He was everything I had hoped for. And then the person who like really kind of like said, "Oh, you're cool, but let me show you something." Rest in peace. His name was Brandon Cummings, man. And he was a fucking walking robot, man. Fucking walking robot. And I remember I was like, "Bro, how do you do that?" He's like, "I'll show you." And we had a weight training class together. And he knew I like to move, right? Because of my sister. Like I like to move, and I had watched Robert Moraine. Shout out! I've reached out to Robert Moraine himself and Philip Shabib about their impacts on my life. I've danced in Philip Shabib's house. You know what I mean? And I've spoken length with Robert Moraine. Um, but Me and Brandon sat down one day and talked about their battle on So You Think You Can Dance. And I was like, bro, you dance like them. You move like these guys, bro. How do you do this? And he showed me how to wave. He's like, every time I see you in the hallway, I want to see you practicing that. And he'd catch me slipping sometimes, bro. And I was like, damn, he's really watching me. You know what I mean? And like going back to the like inner me where it was like I was never watched, never really kind of like, um, it made me feel good. And so I wanted to make sure that I never let him down. You know what I mean? Like he's always going to see me practicing. And we practiced and practiced, and I would practice and practice and practice and practice. And then um, one day we were in the weight training room, and everybody was outside playing football, and we were just in there going at it in this fucking stinky ass locker room. And the coach, Coach Howe, came in there and he goes, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're dancing." Like, sorry, like you know what I mean? Because he probably thought we were in there like smoking weed. He was like, "What are you guys doing?" I was like, "Oh, we're just in here dancing, coach." Like, sorry. He's like, "Oh, well, let me see." And so we're dancing, and he's like, "Man, this is cool as fuck." And a couple weeks later, it was the last day of school, and he took us in the gym, and all the PE classes were in there, and he had us dance, bro. And this was the first time I had people watch me dance and cheer for me. They're like, "Yo, Pudge is fucking getting down, da, da, da. Yo, yo, yo!" Like, and people came to me and was like, "Yeah, Brandon's type, bro, you're fucking tight." And it was like, whoa, like they think I'm better than this guy who I look up to so much. And I had every plan of coming back, and learning more from Brandon and stuff the next year, but I met Channel Islands All Mail that summer, and here we are. And I don't think Brandon, rest in peace, man. Him and his wife, if I remember right, or I know him for sure, but they're up in heaven now, man, and it sucks. But I think about him a lot when I dance. I always think back to him, when I look back. When you talk about like these 818s and stuff that I did and how far I've came, I'm like, but nobody knows about Brandon, what we did in that locker room that day, like the impact he made on my life. He made a him and Chanel Kuipo. Even though we don't talk anymore, she knows.
I know Chanel.
Yeah, I mean, even though me
Yeah.
and her don't talk anymore and stuff, and that's a whole other story. But she made a huge impact on my life and really was the catalyst for me moving to California and chasing a little boy's dream, a young Pacho's dream. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we ask each other so many questions about so much different shit, so it's kind of hard to pick one out the hat, bro.
No, that's a good one. That was a good one to end on. And I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you for uh, sharing that. That story is very beautiful. Um, but I appreciate you being vulnerable, and I appreciate you being open and being yourself, and just Damo too. I feel like you guys. I feel like I'm seeing a different side of you guys. Not that I haven't seen this open side of you, Pudge, but open more on a social level when it comes to being on a platform where we understand that this is the internet and we understand that this lives forever. And I think that from sitting in your garage and having conversations where it's like me, you, and Bam, or me, you, and Sly, and kind of, or me, you, and Felicia, where it's just like us conversing with each other as friends and keeping it in a tight knit circle, or even like Damo and I having conversations at lunch, and or him and I talking on the phone, like Damon and I have talked on the phone, and it kind of reminds me of like you and I, right? Like you text me and you're like, "Yo, can you call me?" or something along those lines, and we chat and we talk about just life in itself, and I'm just grateful to have people like you guys in my life. But I'm grateful to have people like you guys in my life where we can do this openly and show friendships and conversations, and like you touched on earlier, that we don't have to agree on each other's um, opinions, and we can still have love and appreciate each other. So I appreciate you for allowing us to do this tonight, and digging a little bit deeper, and being open on a social platform where other people that tune into us and understand understand where we come from, but are now gaining a deeper understanding on where we come from. The opportunity to get to know you a little bit better and get to understand where you come from and why you come from, the things that you say. And I'm really looking forward to continuing this series with Damo, because we know that he's a waterfall of tears, and I can't wait.
What?
I can't.
I'm not gonna
fucking
cry, okay?
wait. I can't wait.
I won't.
I'll put a bet on it.
Nah, maybe I will. I probably will.
If you don't cry, we'll put a bet on it right now. If you don't cry, I'll cut my ponytail off. If you cry, you cut. If you cry, you cut the mullet off.
Bro, I've been growing it out though.
I mean,
Bro, but you got yours already grown out. Mine is just coming in. Look.
nah, I won't make that bet. I won't make that.
No.
That
But
would be a
because
good-
I
that would
probably
be a
will.
good bet, though.
I wouldn't take
That
the
would be a
bet.
good bet, though. That would be a good bet.
Yo, Korps, I just want to say as well, just on the closing, I'm glad I could know you more. Online, offline. We've been texting a little bit more.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers be plotting outside of the group chat. That should be pissing me off.
He hit me with a text and I replied. That's all.
I did.
Oh, he
I
slid in the
did.
DM?
I did.
Oh, damn.
I'm proud
Let
of
me
it, dog.
find out.
And I bagged him
I mean-
too. Nah, just
Wait, hold on. If he doesn't cry, then you owe him a solid tear on camera.
true.
I gave y'all a tear tonight.
I know. I caught that.
Oh, you said
I gave y'all a tear tonight.
okay, so you did cry at least
It
once.
maybe didn't fall all the way down the cheek or
He
past
caught it.
through my glasses, but
It's all right. We got you to cry on camera. It happened. It finally happened. It's the first, people.
I can't wipe it away. Go ahead, Damon. I didn't mean to interrupt. I apologize, bro. Go ahead.
You're good. I was just saying, yeah, getting to know obviously the lovely people that I get to share a platform with, is always going to be amazing. And yeah, like I think Corpse, I think you said this, that maybe we should do like run it back. Maybe we could do like 6 month, 8 month. I don't know how we'll figure it out. Increments of like updates of like how things have been. Because although I think this is very nice, to do like, catch ups and like make sure that we're all here for each other. It is also cool to, I don't know, just lend a hand when you need it. Like I feel like both of you have done for me this episode. Sorry, I wasn't like completely here at points, but I appreciate you guys.
Lucky
Thank
it
you for
wasn't your
being
week,
alive.
motherfucker.
Lucky what?
I say you're lucky it wasn't your week, bro.
Dog, I would have been fucked if it was my week. No, I mean, but I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you, and I love you, and I also appreciate you for being alive. I don't even just appreciate you being alive. I appreciate you being in our lives.
In my life.
Me
yes,
too.
I do. I'm very thankful for it, guys. Both of you. And thank you guys for I was like, I don't know what the topic's going to be. They're kind of quiet on it and shit.
I know we didn't say anything about it.
I was like, shit. But I didn't think, but thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable, and thank you for the questions. You know what I mean? I value them very much. And again, Damien, I am thankful that you decided to have this idea. I think it's not only good for, the viewers and all that shit, but it's good for us. You know what I mean? And in the selfishness of this covenants that we've built, it is good to have that check-in and to understand that, blood of my blood. And you guys are like family to me, you know what I mean? And I hold you guys in not only the highest esteems, but in the highest regards for what you guys got going on. And so to take, 2 hours or whatever to do this, it meant a lot, you know what I mean, to be heard and stuff by you guys. So
yeah, and it's gonna be beautiful to see the growth of the podcast after this series, right? Like after the three of us are interviewed by the three of us, and then moving on to what comes after. I'm really excited to see what the first podcast the three of us do after these series of interviews between the three of us, what is built after that. You know what I mean? It's going to be really fucking interesting. And even Kelly in chat says chat appreciates your vulnerability and emotions. So it's not just us. So you have to remember that we do have people that whether they're taking a shit and watching on their phones, or laying in bed watching on their TVs, or eating dinner at this time, or even like Jordan, who wasn't here tonight, but I'm sure he'll listen to the playback back at work in his headphones like he does. We do have people listening, and as much as we don't think we do, sometimes we do matter, and the words that we do say matter to people, not only to ourselves. And it's nice to see when when we can bring that to people, and that's really what keeps us going at the end of the day. Not only our bond and our friendship, but the fact that we keep that in mind at the end of the day as well. So, um, Corpse, the podcast was on you tonight, so go ahead and break us down with the outro, baby.
Yes, it's the usual Tuesday podcast. Yes, with your lovely hosts. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Whether wherever you are dispersed across the globe, know that you are loved and appreciated. And I always do my typical fucking sign off, right? But I want to make sure that I say Damien, 0%, here alive in the flesh. I love you, brother. Cisco, my man, save. I love you, brother. I once had a lovely woman, right, by the name of Kayla Oxendine, who I interviewed. She spoke some affirmations over the smoking section, and I want to extend this one. Um, and it's about showing appreciation. And it says, the value of my life increases each time I appreciate everything in it. I appreciate you guys. I'm thankful that you are alive. And like Cisco said, I'm thankful that you are in my life, right? And I hope that we wake up tomorrow feeling rejuvenated, right? And that we feel invigorated to tackle the struggles of life. Because, again, the value of my life increases when we find value in everything in it. So thank you guys. Usual Tuesday.
Good shit. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Love you guys, man. I'll text you guys right now in the chat.
Are you gonna outro Zero or not?
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. Thanks so much everybody for
He
being
was
here.
just like this.
Thank you everybody for being here. Like always, for a minute, a second, an hour, the whole thing. I appreciate you. Thank you to my two lovely co-hosts, Corpse. You're an amazing human being, like I've said throughout this whole podcast, and will forever say as long as I've known you or know you. I think you're a great person, through and through, as well as you, Save, Cisco, and Putch. And I'm very lucky to share this platform with you guys. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Corpse, thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man, for you're vulnerable every stream, bro, but I feel like this one we took it over the edge just a little bit, and I appreciate you for allowing us to do so. You didn't hold any limits. You didn't hold us to any limits, and I appreciate that. Zero, thank you so much to you and your community. I know that you're going through some things right now. We're going to, those things are going to iron out, and we're going to get through them. And, you're not alone in what you go through, and nobody is. Whether you're in my community, Corpse's community, whether you're Corpse, whether you're Zero, whether you're me, like, we don't have to go through things alone. And that's the beautiful thing about creating this community that we're creating. The Usual Tuesday podcast community is growing ever so rapidly. We may not see it, but I know we can feel it for sure. So, to Corpse's community, to Zero's community, to my community, I appreciate you guys for being here. As always, you guys stay healthy, stay happy. I love you guys. Keep smiling, and we will see you guys next week. All right. You guys have a great night. I hate
Love you guys,
in
man.
the group chat. Love you
Be
guys.
safe,
I
be
love you.
safe. It is hot. All right. Be safe, guys. Bye.
All right, boys. Bye.
Yo, legends, as always. Alrighty, listen, everybody who is in chat right now, spam a W. What a good stream. What a good podcast. Hopefully you guys felt good, feel good. I don't know exactly when I'll go into everything that kind of happened over the weekend. I don't know if probably next week with the podcast. Save got wet on camera, confirmed. True. Crystal Waters of the W. Thank you. We'll save it. Listen, it was an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys. I have to go to bed. I'm going to be live Thursday or Friday. I have to figure out what the best day for live streaming is for gaming, whether it be Thursday or Friday. I'm leaning more towards Friday now, just because I know school's starting. I know like a lot of people are going to have more things to do. So like hitting on a Friday evening, I feel like it's just going to be better for everybody's schedule. People could tune in more. They don't have to go to work or school the next day. So we'll try to iron out a time for everybody. Be safe. Thanks so much for watching. Peace. Oh, links down below. Everybody show support to Save and Korps individually. Love them both. Be safe. Peace out. Thank you for watching. I have to pee so bad. Ooh.